Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the series that I put together for the weekend here, which is a Jeet Kune Do um, techniques that I use, that Bruce Lee has used, and it's actually in his book of Jeet Kune Do uh, techniques. I remember, like I said, I had one of the very first releases. It came in the very early 70s out of a little tiny store in Chinatown. It cost $2. And my dad brought it home. I studied that book from end to end. But I just want to be in closing is to say that um, having lived on the streets is very dangerous. And I was very fortunate in the fact that I'm a CCW federal federal firearms license CCW, and so that gave me an advantage. And I always stayed on this right side of the law because that's where I worked uh, my entire career and protecting this country uh, and doing what I needed to do. And there were a lot of times that I was really tired because it's a 24/7 job, 365 days a year. And there's people that love you, and then there's people that hate you. And people that hate you are the criminals because uh, they don't want the rules. That was one of the biggest challenges I had um, shortly after I had gotten the Oakland City sanctioning. I was actually city sanctioned camp number 1. I was the self governing model for Oakland, and until Libby and I had a falling out, and there were times in the media that you probably heard, what about self-governing encampments? Well, that was a referral back to my model, and Libby shut that down because I didn't kiss her butt, and that's what it came down to um, back in 2018 because we received our sanctioning. We had the media down there. Pictures were taken. Her staff was down there. Libby was there personally to talk with all of the camp inhabitants, the residents, and then also talk with me and you know, cameras were rolling, and she made a comment which I didn't think was correct, and so I corrected her, and so that's what happened. She didn't like that correction that I did on her because it was embarrassing. So, dealing with the criminals is a very difficult act because it a lot of times there's no negotiation, and the constant thing that I had in my camp, what made us different, and also the city of Oakland knew we were different, is that we had quiet time. We actually I enforced quiet hours from 10 p.m. at night till 6 in the morning because half of my camp, half of them were employed. They had a job and they needed a good night's sleep. And these criminals who wanted to run the camp and party and do whatever they want to do all night long was not part of the plan. And so back then, confrontations got very heated, and the bottom line is that I always won, uh, whether we needed to settle it by East Oakland rules, And East Oakland rules was there are no rules, and the fight begins. And whoever is the one last standing wins. Everybody else vacates. And so I never lost. And the thing is that I had an advantage because I didn't talk about my martial arts, my mixed martial arts background to anybody, except my close circle, which was very few back then. And so only a few of them, a few people knew about my Wing Chun martial arts foundation or my background, and then also backed up with Muay Thai and Eskrima. And Muay Thai, very violent but very uh, close quarters combat, and you're using knees and elbows. You're not using fists. You're using headbutts. So there's it hurts, and it's very painful if you don't know how to block. And then that's where I have the advantage. Muay Thai strikes. When I get you inside that 24-inch circle, you are done because you have no defense and you have no offense on me in when I go using my Muay Thai discipline. But also, if you had weapons, then that's where Eskrima comes in because we're that in the Filipino martial arts. We incorporate swords, knives, batons, machetes, all sorts of different weapons into our martial arts, and they're very similar to Wing Chun, but with tools and machetes, it makes it much more dangerous, and also there's more distance, and so this is not exactly a up close and personal type combat like I'm used to, but this gives me the 6 foot range. That's my 6 foot circle. That's my outer circle when I have tools and weapons. And so that's where I have an advantage because we specialize in single edge weaponry. Also, I had custom fighting sticks, which is part of Eskrima. If you want to see some of the of Muay Thai Eskrima, uh, I I recommend AdamChan.com. What's that? The Kung Fu Report is what he does. He's about 10 years, 12 years younger than me. He actually shows a lot of moves and techniques, which, since I don't have a partner here, makes more sense for you to watch something with a partner rather than me doing ghost uh, techniques and showing you. And while I can do that, it's not showing you how effective they are. And so another one that's very good that shows a wide variety of martial arts is Budo Brothers, Budo Brothers, um, and they have a lot over there, and they talk about Muay Thai and also Eskrima techniques. So those are a couple of places that I recommend if you really want to see with partners and see how things work. Those are two places that I recommend. And in closing, violence on the streets is horrible. I don't like it, but the thing is, it's a jungle, and it's about survival. And the thing about martial arts in America, and the reason why I really don't like any of the martial arts is because people aren't trained to actually fight. That's what Jeet Kune Do actually did. Bruce Lee took his what he learned and actually fought on the streets, much like what I did when I was growing up. I just took everything I learned and I tried it out on the streets to see what worked, what didn't work, and then as I furthered in my career, I had plenty of opportunities to test out Muay Thai strikes, Muay Thai holds, and breaks. Then adding in a higher danger level of myself with long, short swords and long knives, along with batons, tonfas, all sorts of different weapons, and incorporating that with my natural uh, movements, my martial arts movements, and I could move between Wing Chun, Muay Thai, and Eskrima very easily and very fluidly, and that's what Jeet Kune Do is all about: mastering what works for you. And it's the philosophies, the theories. It is not a discipline. Jeet Kune Do is not a discipline. And that there, if you watch the documentary on Bruce Lee, even Bruce Lee tells you, you know, his Jeet Kune Do from one year to another year is going to be completely different. And that's true because my my martial arts, I just call it MMA, because, but one of the things I do agree with many, and pretty much all of Bruce Lee's philosophies and his thoughts. So if you want to find out what those were, just go back through the documentary and watch that. It's on my Facebook page. And it's a really good documentary throughout his life, and it talks about everything that I talked about here. Talked about his Jeet Kune Do school here in Oakland, him living here in the city of Oakland. Him and Linda had a home in the Maxwell Park area of Oakland, East Oakland, for many years, and talks about how he was actually cast, and the he wrote um, a TV series which was called Warriors, but then they changed the name, and also the character Bruce Lee was supposed to be the lead character in the TV series Kung Fu back in the early 70s, and he was denied that because, number one, there were no Chinese men or Chinese lead in any show or movie. That would have been a big disturbance in the force, for Hollywood. And so he didn't get the part, and they put David Carradine in, and David Carradine was one of those characters that I despised because Hollywood and the movies, you typically stuck a white person and just dressed up that white person to look Asian, putting slanty eyes on him, giving him a textured, colored um, skin tone, and then the Fu Manchu mustache, beard type thing, and then the ridiculous outfits that they use. And I always hated those. I despised them. And it was the first time that I actually saw Bruce Lee. I was 6 years old when the brand new TV series came out called Green Hornet. Oh, I was so excited. You couldn't take me away from the TV because for the first time there was an actual Chinese man, and while he was not the lead character, nobody paid attention to Rex Reed. They wanted to see Kato kick the bad guys' butts. And that was a shining moment for me. And then in 1973, with his death, it was a real sad time for me. I lost somebody that I had looked up to, and then shortly thereafter, a few uh, about 6 months later, my best friend, my grandfather, Thomas G. Liu, he died on my birthday. Literally, he died on my birthday, February 10th. But that was 1974. I was 14 years old when my grandfather died on my birthday, and it was a sad day. It was. I was going through a lot of hard times. I had a lot of anger issues going at that time, and my family was already very well known to our government because past relations with the president. You back in the early days, back in the late 20s, early 30s, you know, we had family ties all through the government. We had family members in the past who were seated judges for the circuit court. So we were a very well-known family to the United States government, and also my brother, when he went to work, he uh, outside after he left the army, he went to college, university in Colorado, and got his doctorate for forestry. And then he was one of the people responsible for the global timing of the GPS system. And so he traveled everywhere. And he traveled as a Department of Defense contractor. And my brother, he was well versed in judo. He was a judo master here growing up. Back then, um, that's what my grandfather was able to help him with. My brother and I were very much alike. We are very strong-willed, strong-headed, and also we weren't the kind that would back down from a fight. Oh no, we didn't back down. And those of you that grew up with me and went through school with me know that I was not a person to back down. Um, you challenged me, it was on back then. So anyway, uh, street violence is it when you get to the fight. Unfortunately, if you're attacked on the street, if you are attacked on the street, you have to. If you're planning on fighting, you have to fight and go all in like there is no tomorrow, because quite likely there is no tomorrow if this criminal really does um, shoot you, stab you, beat you to death, which is what we're seeing nowadays. We're seeing old seniors getting kicked in the head by criminals, and the fall is what kills them, and things like that are not acceptable. And like I always tell people, I said, you come after me, you make a run on me, it's not going to end well for you, because I'm one of those. I'm not distracted when I'm out on the street. If I'm out on the street, I either have my dog Mama, or or I don't have that stupid phone in my hand. I have it in my pocket. It's on, but I am not interacting with the phone in any way when I'm outside on the street. That's one safety factor, and that's one of the tips that you need to remember, not to be distracted, so that you can be aware of what's going on around you, because you never know when an attack is going to happen. They come out of nowhere and they're lightning fast. And if you don't already have a plan and you're not lightning fast, you could be food for the predator. But like I said, I always keep my head on a swivel, because number one, the more time and the more awareness you have, the awareness, it buys you time, and time buys you options. That could be a simple deployment of an OC spray, or uh, it can get you. Uh, if you're in a martial arts, you have martial arts training. It gets you ahead of the curve and get you ready and in position, ready to defend yourself and do what is necessary. And when you do what is necessary, you have to be merciless, literally. Because the person attacking you is not going to have mercy on you. They are not. They are not just going to rob you. They're there to terrorize you and harm you for life if they don't take your life. And in many cases nowadays, they're taking your life. And the moment I see a weapon or I feel that they have a weapon, believe me, mine comes out. And people have said or asked me, well, have you shot people? Have you shot things down there? Oh, yeah. Yes, I have. Um, we've kept it low key. I won't tell you how many people, but we'll just say that there are several that didn't make it off 77th Ave alive. And then we had many criminals pull guns on us. We've been shot at. And illegal dumpers. Illegal dumpers are one of the most dangerous because not only are they there, they don't want you witnessing. And so they may come over and beat you. And so there's a danger there. And some of those illegal dumpers carry weapons. In fact, one brought a shotgun, and I ended up putting 5 rounds into his vehicle, which was the backstop. And he dropped his weapon. He fired 1 round, but I got off many more because I had my Glock at the time, and my Glock is my federal carry, or was my federal carry. My Glock 17 held 19 rounds as a standard factory clip, and I had 2 additional clips. So I had plenty of rounds. And that's how we dealt with some of the illegal dumpers, and then some of the illegal dumpers that came in numbers. Now, you can't stop us. Well, I don't have to stop you since you're in a rental truck, and all of those rental companies, namely the red and white one out there, U-Haul, and they're the least cooperative, and they're harmful, and they do not cooperate with the police unless, which is what I started doing. I just shot up the vehicle. Yeah, I just put 5 6 rounds, through glass, through doors, make it so that that truck, when Mr. Illegal Dumper returns it, in order for um, the insurance to cover the damage on the vehicle, there has to be a police report. So that makes it a public issue then. And there's never been an illegal dumper that has ever called 911 or has said, they shot at me. They just don't. In fact, most of them just simply disappear and never be heard from again. They just disconnect the phone numbers, things like that. So that's just something for you to know and keep under your hat. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed that series and it did help. If there's more that you would like to find out or possible techniques, check with Adam Chan, the Kung Fu Report, and the Budo Brothers, Budo Brothers, on YouTube. They can offer a lot of techniques, and you can see how they work with a partner. So those are some tips that hopefully will keep you safe on the street, and hope you never have to use them. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.